So I guess kind of feeding into the activism, number 7 here is that the Green Party is an anti-war, anti-imperialist party. And that's one of our 4 pillars that we were talking about earlier. And, you know, that comes from the fact that the party comes from grassroots movements that were for these things. And our commitment to it, aside from it being a pillar, you know, we have things like a National Peace Action Committee that, you know, reviews issues and makes recommendations. And I think the main thing that I want to point out here is that I've heard this sort of commentary from a number of people when I speak to activists about the Green Party, that this peace pillar, this nonviolence pillar, is oftentimes kind of the deciding factor for a lot of people on why they join the Green Party as opposed to other organizations. Because, and again, it's a little bit superficial, because when you consider things like the Green New Deal, our Green New Deal is very different from the one that you often hear about in the media. That's the watered down Democrat version of it. But at least superficially, you know, when people first hear about the Green Party and they first hear about, you know, let's say Bernie Sanders type Democrats, right? They'll kind of superficially say, well, it sounds like you support some of the same domestic policy, so I'm not sure what the difference is here. What really wins people over is this peace stance, because Bernie Sanders, AOC, every single one of them has been voting for the $700+ billion war budget. They've been voting to give money to 100,000 more police officers. You know, like, you know, this agenda of you know, war and police state is still, even among the progressive Democrats, they wholeheartedly 100% support that. So this pillar very clearly sets the Green Party separate from the Democrats. Even though I think on economic policy and all, we're also very clearly separate because we're eco-socialists. Again, this peace pillar, I think, is just very obvious once you put them side by side, right? So I like to emphasize that.
You know, when you think about a Green New Deal, right, it's a climate policy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how a serious Green New Deal proposal doesn't address the single largest polluting entity in the world, which is the U.S. military. Right? There are other sectors that might contribute more, but when it comes to one single entity, right, no one pollutes more than the U.S. military. So if we really want to be serious about climate, we really have to be serious about demilitarization. And if we're not putting that in, it creates problems for, are we really, you know, trying to address the climate, and also how are we going to fund things? Because we're putting a huge amount of our discretionary budget to, you know, war and death.
Mm-hmm.